Hi, it's Chris Blaze here for another Designer Diary. Today it's very exciting. Look at what's behind me. The mock-up for the LRV Green Line. I'm down here and we're going to do a little special reveal here of one of the 4 build challenges that students will take on in Minecraft for Level Up Calgary Season 2. So here we go, come with me. And let's go inside. Today, I'm also joined by Darshpreet Bhatti. He is the CEO of Greenline. Hello, Darshpreet.
How are you doing?
It's nice to see you. Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me here today. All right, my first question for you is if you could tell me about your role as CEO for Greenline.
It's an interesting one. I think one of the key objectives is to be transparent with the public. Obviously, we have to make sure council is informed as we're moving forward. And then there's the board who are very hands-on in terms of the progress that's being made, the decisions that are being made, and the plans that we have moving forward on the project. And then we have funding partners. So it's a mixed bag of a lot of public relations, if you want to give it a title. But really, ultimately, the objective is to be out there, be the front on the project, be able to respond to public at large in terms of what we're delivering, how it may impact them, and ultimately provide a product and a service that we've committed to, which is a very safe, reliable, and convenient system.
Thank you. My second question is around your vision. What is your vision for Greenline?
It's aligned with what the city wants, and what the city has identified as the vision is also aligned with what many other cities hope for from a project like this, which is really twofold. One is connecting people. Greenline is amazing in a sense that it will connect 27 communities and neighborhoods that today don't have the ability to have a high order transit system. So they'll get something that will be far more reliable, far more faster, and give them more opportunities to travel within a broader network within the city. And the second one is every city as they grow, and the city of Calgary is in that perfect position where they're becoming more and more metropolitan in terms of the diversity of jobs and people that are moving to Alberta and Calgary, is to provide tools that can help manage that growth. And transit is a good component of that toolbox by allowing for good connections. You're also allowing for good policies in terms of how you can build your city as you're growing.
All right, my third question for you, I really appreciate that. It really helps us kind of ground ourselves in this work. How does Level Up Calgary align with your vision? What sort of caught your attention about this challenge, and how is this important in your work?
I've been very fortunate and privileged to have worked with younger, smarter minds than ourselves on mega projects like these. Just to give an example, one of my first LRT projects in Waterloo, I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to work with the University of Waterloo, where we were more focused on looking at design solutions with kids to see how do they see something can be delivered. But it was also to engage them. So it wasn't just seeing solutions from them, but getting them engaged in a city building project, because the city building initially is an infrastructure initiative, but ultimately it is the city that they're going to live and work in. So if they can be part of it, they can come up with the solutions. There's nothing better than that, because that is what you would want. So it started with that initiative, and then in my last project that I was on, we were very fortunate to work with the local school board there. We actually went to high schools, elementary schools, and middle schools, and we had young kids draw what their vision for that particular project was and how that corridor would look in the future. So this initiative is no different, and I was very pleased that it's tied to a game. I used to be an avid gamer, and my son loves Minecraft. There were already connections I had with the younger generation, and the gaming just brought it even closer to me. I think it's very important for young kids to have a very fertile thinking and mind, and games allow that. When you give them an assignment, it's an assignment, but through a game, they can be very open in terms of how they can build something and how they can represent their views through the tools that they're very comfortable using. So Minecraft is a perfect medium for that.
Yeah, it's a great fit, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. So that's what excited me, and I think it's important to engage them through all sorts of mediums and not just, Minecraft is obviously one good tool, but if we can think of others, I think what's important is the engagement.
Absolutely. Yeah, and just imagine we're going to have thousands of students prototyping their ideas
Yes.
for a Green Line station
Yes.
right here in Calgary.
Yes.
So very, very exciting.
I am.
So on that note then, you kind of referenced some of your work at Waterloo and engaging with young people in schools. So how important is that engagement with young people and the youth of Calgary?
As I said, ultimately, all of these policies initiatives are about building a better city for those who will be here in the future. And it is our younger generation. And if they can be part of that civil component where they're giving their thoughts on how they want their city to look and be connected, I think as engineers and people leading big projects or even city administration, I think that's what we should be seeking. We should be getting that input so that they're more engaged. I know we often talk about elections and others, and we say how the younger population is not engaged at all. This is the best way of getting them involved in civic initiatives, because then they take pride in what's being done, and they will come up with even better solutions than we can.
Amazing. I want to thank you for your time here today. I have one final question before we go. And that is just thinking about our students who aspire to be our next generation of engineers and architects, CEOs. What advice would you give them? What's involved in designing a project of the scope, of the scale of Green Line?
I think the biggest thing my mind always goes back to is connecting people. Everything we do from an infrastructure perspective is making lives better for those who live in that area. So as engineers, architects, project managers, they should always be looking at that softer side of things, as ultimately the objective is to serve those who are going to use it. So never lose sight of that. Yes, there are technical ways of doing things, but if they don't serve the constituents that you're building it for, then it would not, in my view, would not be a great accomplishment. You want to make sure that you're connecting those who have the need, and then making sure that whatever product that you're delivering gives them that convenience that they're seeking from it and reliability. From a transit perspective, we can always add safety, but two fundamental concepts for me as a user would be, is it convenient for me? Can I use it as an option in place of something else? And secondly, how reliable is it? If I have to guess when it will come, then that's not good. But if I can have certainty that no matter what, I know my train will be there, then it gives me even more confidence as a user to say, this is what I want to use. So I'm using transit as an example, but irrespective, as a user, as an engineer or an architect, or whichever field you choose, is ultimately the users of your service or your product that need to be taken into account first and foremost before you move forward. So I would say that should always be in your mind.
Dashpreet Bhatti, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We are so excited. Level Up Calgary Season 2 launching at CCTC on February 16th. Thank you so much. We're just so thrilled that Green Line is part of this. This is one of the 4 build sites that students will have to choose from. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and I'm excited to see the creativity that will come from the younger minds. So looking forward to that.
Very good.
Thank you.
See you on the next one.